Christmases as a child, especially early ones. They're really all about Star Wars.
The attendance at Star Wars has been almost astronomical. Queues are still forming.
Christmas 1977 and Star Wars premieres in the UK, launching a multi-billion-dollar toy empire, dominating children's Christmases forever. To tell us more, pray silence, please, for a toy god.
I got invited to see the movie the first time in San Francisco. People walked in not knowing what movie they were going to see. I was there with those 360 virgins to see Star Wars. And then when the Death Star exploded, people leapt out of their seats and cheered. It was incredible. I knew we had something there.
When Star Wars came out, nobody was prepared for it. They thought, okay, it's a space western, it'll be fine, it'll do okay. Doesn't have really big name stars in it, but it'll be a nice summer movie. Well, nobody was prepared for that, least of all the toy companies. Most of the toy companies had turned down making the action figures. So little Kenner out in Ohio gets the license to make Star Wars figures.
Such was the unpreparedness for that first Star Wars Christmas. There were no actual figures to sell. To head off an almost certain disaster, someone needed to have a bright idea.
Kenner actually did not sign the deal to release toys until right before the movie came out. There was no lead time in order to produce plastic action figures, which usually take about a year to get to market. So there was no chance of having something on shelves by December or the fall, basically, when the movie came out in May. So with the massive hit on their hands, Kenner wanted to get action figures or something related to action figures to market. So what they did was release basically a paper certificate that came packaged with a cardboard stand. Parents could buy that in a toy store or a department store and give the certificate to their children on Christmas, so they had something to open up under the tree.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now about to witness the birth of a true Christmas miracle. The first ever example of a toy IOU for sale. What a ruse!
But this Star Wars early bird certificate package is in stores, with this colorful Star Wars picture display stand and certificate to send in to get a set of figures by mail.
And then they would get their action figures several months later, probably in March or April. It was much criticized in the press, I think, as a scam in a way, but thousands of children, probably millions, remember getting their early bird certificates and then mailing away for their figures. And so in that sense, it's really an historic toy marketing moment as well as a great childhood memory.
That created the phenomenon, the collector phenomenon, and today we've got the kids who grew up playing with Star Wars. Their kids, their grandkids are still in the whole mythology.
This is my Star Wars lightsaber right over here, celebrating. I can't believe it's been so many years with Star Wars, right? It's like incredible. It's so great to be back. My first memory is Star Wars when I was 3 years old in the movie theater back when I was a little baby.
I feel that, really, it's not Star Wars that made the toys, it's the toys that made Star Wars to a great extent.
The first toy I remember getting is an R2-D2 action figure, which was probably around 1980. Star Wars movies were released in 77, 80, and 83, so that's, up until the time I was 8 years old, every 3 years there was a new movie and a new set of action figures to collect. So a constant barrage of product every Christmas for that entire early childhood.
And so, legions of fans, how does your very own Father Christmas feel about the joy he's brought you?
It makes me incredibly happy to see how many people take Star Wars so seriously and have so much fun with it. I now see kids that play with toys that I made 43 years ago, started out with, and still are being played with.
Look at something like this. I mean, blimey. This seems huge to me now. So, a half-size me, this must have seemed almost unimaginable that you could suddenly have the Millennium Falcon and fly it around the front room. That's going to stick in your mind a heck of a lot more than really the films themselves. And I feel that a lot of people who are obsessed by the Star Wars films, what got them properly locked into it in the first place were the toys themselves. I mean, how can you not fall in love with this?
It turned out really, to be one of the best things that ever happened.